We must.
High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall, first asking your pardon thereunto, recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet.
What should this mean? Are all the rest come back, or is it some abuse and no such thing?
Know you the hand?
'Tis Hamlet character, naked, and in a postscript here he says, alone. Can you advise me?
I'm lost in it, my lord, but let him come. It warms my very sickness in my heart, that I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thus didst thou.
If it be so, Laertes, as how should it be so? How otherwise? Will you be ruled by me?
Aye, my lord, so you will not overrule me to a peace?
To thine own peace, if he thou now returned, as checking at his voyage, and that he means no more to undertake it, I will work him to an exploit, now ripe in my device, under the which he shall not choose but fall, and for his death no wind of blame shall breathe, but even his mother shall uncharge the practice, and call it accident.
My lord, I will be ruled, the rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ.
It falls right you have been talked of, since you travel much, and that in Hamlet's hearing for equality, wherein they say ye shine, your sum of parts, do not together pluck such envy from him, as did that one and that in my regard of the unworthiest siege.
What part is that, my lord?
A very rabbit in the cap of youth, yet needful too, for youth no less becomes the light and careless livery that it wears than settled age his sables and his weeds, importing health and graveness. 2 months since here was a gentleman of Normandy. I've seen myself and served against that French, and they can well on horseback, but this gallant had witchcraft in it. He grew unto his seat, into such wondrous doing brought his horse, as he had been incorpsed and natured. With the brave beast, so far, he topped my thought, that I, in forgery of shapes and tricks, come short of what he did.
A Norman, was it?
A Norman.
Upon my life, Lamont.
The very same.
I know him well. He is the brooch indeed, all and gem of all the nation.
He made confession of you, and gave you such a masterly report, for art and exercise in your defense, and for your rapier most especially, that he cried out, 'twould be a sight indeed, if one could match you, the skimmers of their nation. He swore he had neither motion, guard, nor eye, if you opposed them. Sir, this report out of his did Hamlet so envy him with this envy, that he could nothing do but wish and beg your sudden coming over to play with him. Now out of this...
What out of this, my lord?
Laertes, was your father dear to you? Or are you like the painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
Why ask you this?
Not that I think you did not love your father, but that I know love is begun by the time, seen in passages of proof. Time qualifies the spark and fire of it. There lives within the very flame of love a kind of wick or snuff that will abate it, and nothing is at a like goodness still. For goodness growing to a pleurisy dies in his own too much, that we should do when we would, for this wood changes and hath abatements and delays as many as there are tongues, are hands, are accidents. And this should is like a spendthrift sigh, that hurts by easing, but to the quick o'er the ulcer. Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake? To show yourself your father's son, indeed, more than in words.
To cut his throat, I am the church.
No place indeed should murder, sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds. But good Laertes, will you do this? Keep close within your chamber? Hamlet returns, shall you know, are come home. Will put on this shall praise your excellence, and set a double varnish on the frame the Frenchman gave you. Bring you in fine together, and wager on your heads, he, being remiss, most generous and free from all contriving, will not pursue the foil, so that, with ease or with little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited and in pass of practice. Requite him for your father.
I will do it, and for that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank so mortal that but dip a knife in it, where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare, collected from all simples that have virtue under the moon can save the thing from death. That is but scratched withal. I'll touch my point with this contagion that if I gall him slightly, it may be death.
Let's further think of this. Weigh what convenience both of time and means may fit us to our shape. If this should fail, and that our drift look through our bad performance, 'twere better not say. Therefore, this project should have a back or a second that might hold. If this should blast in proof so loft, let me see. We'll make a solemn wager on your cunnings. I hat when in your motion you are hot and dry, as make bouts more violent to that end. And that he calls for a drink, I'll have prepared for him a chalice of the nonce, whereupon, but sipping, if he by chance escape your venoms stuck, our purpose may hold there.